Now this box is an open box, so it's been opened up before, maybe it was returned. So we saved a little money that way. The box is surprisingly light. So this must be part of the feet is the first thing I see. These two feet things, I think they're part of the stand. Part of it fell apart already. Hopefully it's plastics tonight because we've got a lot of styrofoam here. And I'm just trying to find a way of parking it. Sit on behind. Yep. Get the screen out. There we go. That's how you get TV out, I guess. Things are surprisingly very light now. So, okay, we got a remote. Looks like a Roku type remote on this thing. Batteries and volume control. It's important to me, the remotes on these things. Okay, it's not a whole lot of buttons though. It has your quick buttons, your Netflix and all that, and your volume. I'm just looking at the side to see if it's like Roku that has the headphone jack. I don't see a headphone jack on it, but it has the volume on the sides of the remote, back and home key. So we'll try that. Here's the manual and the power supply. And hopefully it has the things to put the stand on. Looks like there's a few screws here for the stand. So you just attach that to it. All right, I'll get a screwdriver and we'll put that on. Shows where all the ports are on the TV. Insignia ROKU. So now I can actually watch NASA channel on 1080p. On an actual 1080p screen. So it has the ports and things on it too. Okay. Screwdriver works. So you find it'll say on the stand here, right and left side. So just fit that in there. And you tighten up your screws here into the TV. That's really all there is to it. Like, it's quite simple to get this thing set up. Make sure it's good and tight. There we are. 4 screws, and that's about it to get this part on. Just gonna show you this right here. It's not like your typical, like the old TV had like what looked like a computer power supply. This thing has something, I don't know, it kind of looks like something I used to attach my Commodore VIC-20 with, or maybe a PlayStation connection. It's one of these things, focus it, and it just fits in right here. This is me stepping into the modern technology era. So upon startup, it asks, let's get started. So we will say, okay, English. Are we in the United States or Canada? It's Canada, so that it knows that we can't get probably a bunch of content that you can in the United States. Set up for home use, set up for store use. I guess we're in the home. I guess we'll go with wireless. Set up wireless connection. I guess it has Wi-Fi built into it. All right, that's ours. Here, so at that point, your wired connection. Checking wired connection. And I guess that'll take you, you can configure it through your computer as well.
Are other remotes too, Daddy?
Okay. I miss the days when you just hooked it up and you watch TV, you know, going on the internet to get your TV to work. So at this point, I found the computer and I started it and I'm loading it. and waiting to enter the code. I hope Roku likes Linux. Okay, so I gone through some of the steps, and so now I have it scanning the antenna channels. It went through and found all the satellite receiver and different ports and things. So, so far it's not set anything like of the channels that I've got. So once we're done, we'll go through that. Live TV allows you to for 90 minutes. Okay, it's going to do that. Sure. You need to plug a USB drive into it. So it actually has a PVR on this thing, where you can plug a USB thing in it. That's actually pretty neat, which I wasn't expecting, but hey, this is like a computer. It should be able to do that sort of thing, regardless of the size. So if I can use this as a PVR, that's awesome. Was not detected. Live TV requires a USB. Okay, well, we don't have it right now. We'll go get it later. Set up live TV. Done. Alright, so there's channel 3, which is an analog channel. Channel 3.1 shows the signal quality, which is NBC. So it scanned in all the channels. This is just channel 4 VCR, but I wanted to leave it on there. It's got channel 5. And actually, to get these channels in this weather, I'm surprised that it's doing so well. So we got Charge, Kid Violence, getting about 3 bars for that. Escape. One thing I will say, it's not the quickest response time, but hey, but it's digital TV, so. And it has the EPG guide and all that. So the button for the TV is right there. It's just one button. From what I can see, it's like, I guess it's like your phone, you know, to turn it on, you press one button, and they expect you to use the remote control. Now over here is where you plug, I'm just using a thumb drive, and there's a USB port for the pause live TV and rewind live TV and all that type of stuff goes in there. There's also right next to your HDMI ports. I don't know if that's 1 or 2. I can't really read the lighting. Now the light here, this button here, one thing I find about that is it's just the one button, so there's no, I didn't find any volume on this thing. If there is, it's hidden somewhere. I think it's just this to turn it on. A lot of TVs now just have one button to turn it on, but it doesn't even have like a volume up or down thing on it. So it's just this one button to turn it on. So if you didn't have the remote, you just go to Antenna TV, leave it, and it'll take you to Antenna TV. You just have to have the patience of Job to make it work. And you can see the pause live TV line like there. You can pause the image, make it stop. Fast forward, I can rewind it. It has it recorded enough to rewind it. But that's pretty much how that is. Just, you know, a little pause live TV, PVR type thing. Without it being really a PVR. You can't program it to record programs, unfortunately. Okay, after living with this Insignia TV, well, first thing I want to talk to you about is the important things I find. Is this is the remote for it. This is it looks like a Roku remote. No fancy buttons, but I find it's actually pretty user friendly. Now this is my old Insignia TV. Actually, the old one. This is the one that came with. This one died on me. Maybe if I clean it up, it'll work. But one thing I want to emphasize, and I'm happy that Insignia has done that, is this remote will work with this remote. Will work with the TV. So I have I have a couple of remotes. One's a universal remote that I programmed for my old TV, which will still work for this one. So I don't even have to go find the codes online. It just saves me the time. So that's a big plus, I find. And it's not some weird proprietary code that you have to go, that not every universal remote will work for. So I'm pretty sure that most universal remotes, even if you did lose this remote, most universal remotes will help you out. Now another thing I want to point out is the on switch. This TV, these new TVs only have one button. So the button's there at the back, right where my hand is. You got to reach around, and I just put it to the main menu just to take it off of the broadcast TV for reasons. So So once you get to your main menu, now I've out of the box, this TV, you have to set it, you can change the settings. So if you want to, say for example, what I prefer is you turn your TV on, it goes to the last channel or last device viewed. So I believe that is an option here in the options. You go system, you go power. Okay, and then for that, here you go power, you have your options. Last input used, okay, yeah. So when you power up your TV, you can go to home screen, which most of the time it will be on default, which is annoying. You can go last use TV input, which is good, because like if you're watching TV with over the air, it'll go to that. If you're watching the DVD player, it'll go to that. Or you can set it to your satellite TV or your DVD player or whatever. Now another thing I liked about this too is it very easily marks these for what most people are going to have. Like I got my free-to-air Z Gamma box hooked up to it, so I just call it my satellite TV port, which is just basically the HDMI 3 port. I ended up plugging it into HDMI 3. Now this being a 4K TV as it's advertised, I actually haven't gotten my Z Gamma receiver to output 2000 whatever lines of resolution, the 4K ultra high definition. I'm not sure if I don't have HDMI cable that's for 4K or why that is. I've also found that I can only get it to sync if I get a channel on my Z Gamma that is, so the highest resolution I found was 1080i, and I haven't been able to get it to sync with 1080p. I get 720p, but it's either 720p or 1080i, which I'm still tinkering around with, and I haven't figured that out yet, which it should be easier, but it's not. But that could be just the device I'm using for that. Okay, one thing I want to talk about, before I put the PVR, the USB stick in, I was able to put a USB media stick and then watch it with a Roku media player. But when I set it up for the Pause Live TV feature, it formatted that drive, and it formatted it to obscure format for the thumb drive. So now the thumb drive can only be used in the TV. I can still format it and make it FAT32 or NTFS, whatever I want. But that was kind of annoying that it's not using an open format for that part of it, because you can plug a USB, you can unplug it and then put a USB device in and watch MKVs and MP4s. I was able to watch an MP4 and an MKV. So looking at the USB device, it looks like it's calling it an SDCR1 is what it's formatted to, and it won't mount on my Linux Mint computer, which usually Linux Mint is pretty good for all storage formats, but this one is definitely a proprietary one that is not allowing me to look at the file or the transport stream on it. Maybe there's a way to look at that, but yeah, they don't make it easy for you to be able to look at what the Pause Live TV. So it's kind of annoying that it basically used the whole thumb drive for that, and also I can't use my thumb drive so that I can like go into it and put some MP4 videos into it and then watch it on the TV. So that's one thing I find to be somewhat annoying about this system, but it is kind of neat that it does have the capability that you can pause live TV, fast forward, or go back about 90 minutes. This is just it's a 16 gigabyte card, but when it formatted it to 15 gigabyte. Probably there's not really any swap or anything in there. It's just 15 gigabyte formatted. So that's what if you do format your thumb drive, make sure you back up all the files you have in it. I did back up my files. I might format this thing again just so that I can use it as a thumb drive. I just wanted to show you guys what the Pause TV button does. Now I do know that the TV probably has the software capability to do a PVR live TV, but they just did not put that into the TV. You'd have to use the watch my video on the Allure Tech box for PVR stuff that will be coming up after this video. Yeah, Roku media player. And then this thing here will allow you to go in. You can even connect, if you have a network hard drive, you can connect through your network hard drive and watch videos that way. So for example, I have all my home videos and stuff on a network drive, so it's actually makes it really easy where I'm doing it through this remote, and I can go to my home movies and put those on too. So I've installed a few channels. These are just extra channels. Some of these I don't know if I'll keep them on forever. Like these are like the apps that come with the TV. So for example, there's Netflix, 4K Spotlight, which is has a few nature documentaries that are in 4K that are free that you can get. There's Sky News, which is just pretty much like the Sky News, the same thing you get on Sky News' YouTube feed. There's PopCornflix, which comes with automatically. Now, the neat thing about this is there's free movies. It's not a huge selection of movies, but there is free movies. I'll enter this app. This actually comes installed with the TV. So there's movies. There's movies. There's TV series. Oh yeah, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. The Burbs. This one actually, in some ways, I like this because it has some. I like movies from the '80s and stuff. So that's kind of nice to see. Just for me, Popcorn Originals. Trailer Park Boys, the movies. I don't think Popcorn produced that one, but they say it's one of their originals. There's comedy stuff there. There's horror. Action, you know, it basically is like Netflix, just not as big of a menu, and it shows ads. When you're watching the videos, it might show a few ads throughout it, and compare that to broadcast TV, there's really not a huge amount of ads on this thing. So, the old Superman. Just a broadcast TV show, so this would have like series and stuff. The Weird Al Show. Right on. Season 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that's pretty cool. I used to tape this. If you remember back in the days when you had a VHS VCR, you would tape it and hit pause during the commercials to tape a show or a movie off of over-the-air TV, or actually it was cable TV or whatever back in the day. But that's cool, the Weird Al Show. Sorry, I'm a big Weird Al fan. Glad he got his star on Hollywood. I don't care about that stuff at all, but Weird Al deserves it. Sure. He needs to make another UHF. And if you haven't seen UHF, check that out because that's like a classic movie. Classic horror. Hidden gems. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the entire menu here. Sorry, I'm just going through what it has. It does have a whole lot of videos to choose from in the PopCornflix menu. I'll show you some of more of the streaming features. CBS Access. Now that's a thing that you need an account to get on. It's just like Netflix. You have to have a Netflix account. Now if you have a Netflix account, no problem. Just enter it in and you can get that stuff. YouTube, you don't need a YouTube account. So that's a good thing. This one, I tried it, but it wasn't working. It's a Canadian channel. It used to be known as CTS, and I can't get it in my area. And I tried streaming it, and it wasn't working. And what comes default with this device too is the Roku Channel, which I'll go into that right now. Roku Channel, the free TV for you. I think this is where I watched Father Ted. Like, I like old shows. I'm living in the past, you know, but not big C-band satellite dishes, you know. TV, so okay. Like Third Rock from the Sun has a lot of the shows that are on like Laugh. There's Father Ted. I like that show, so I just, you know, that was like the first thing I wanted to see, just to test it out. Just watch the premiere episode of that. It's pretty hilarious. I don't know. I like that kind of humor. And it shows ads. Yeah, the Roku Channel is like the PopCornflix thing. It just shows ads and has all these movies and things. Unsolved Mysteries. The original Robert Stack episodes. Oh wow. That's I wonder how many of these episodes of Unsolved Mysteries are, like, this was from the 80s. I wonder how many of them are still unsolved.
all the Ernest movies. Ernest Goes to School. Ernest Goes to Africa. Ernest Rides Again. Ernest Goes to School. Oh, it doesn't have Ernest Goes to Camp. That's like the original that I remember seeing. They don't have that. Anyway, yeah, it just has its menus. Classic TV, because I like classic TV. Bunch of old. No, The Lucy Show, Beverly Hillbillies. No, Leave It to Beaver. I love Leave It to Beaver, but oh well. Anyway, just to look at the Roku menu with all the programs. As long as you have it connected to the internet and you log in and get a Roku account. One thing I want to just mention about the PVR, it doesn't record your DVD or like your pause live TV thing. It doesn't record that stuff. So you push the live TV. It only records the tuner stuff. So bear that in mind. I was kind of hoping that maybe that would be in here and it could capture HDMI source so I can kind of make my satellite videos and kind of show you a direct feed. That'll be someday when as our budget gets bigger for videos. Myself and my family are quite pleased with this TV. My wife has told me that she really likes it. She likes it better than the satellite receiver because it is a lot more of a simple, user-friendly interface. Home button, you go to your menus, you go to your ports. In some ways I find this might even be a TV for my parents because they have a little hard time with the buttons. Even though it is just one button, the interface, just want to kind of quickly go to that, is just you go through it like that and you can select your ports to what you want to do when you hit the button. So when you're messing around with it, it's not that hard to get to it. Just don't want to leave it there. So anyway, if you like these videos that I've created, please support me on Patreon. I got a Patreon account now. If you want to support this channel, just help drop a few bucks for the content to help me to keep creating this content. Maybe I could buy a capture card, or a capture device to capture DVD, or an ATSC modulator or something, just so that I can do some more reviews on this type of stuff that we could use. So I'm just asking you if you can help me with support with a few bucks. I'd appreciate that. And so I do have my Patreon account, which I'll have a link in the description, and I'll have it all set up for that. So thank you for watching this video. Please give this video a like, share, and subscribe. And tell me about your TVs. If you bought an LG, a friend of mine told me he had an LG and it worked on, the remote worked on other TVs. That was like the big thing. So long as the remote works, I'm happy. So anyway, thank you very much and have a good day.